Hello and welcome back to Conscious Concepts. Today I'm going to be talking about you and who you are. When I ask that question, who are you? A lot of people, they will say their name, or they'll mention their parents' names, or the job they have, their occupation, their hobbies, their likes and dislikes. You might even mention where you've been. And I guess I'm trying to say that you are not those things. People identify with those things, and that's what's keeping us in this trap of caring what other people think, of jealousy, of this trap of insecurities and hate. The reason people are hateful is because they're insecure about themselves, or they're jealous, one of those. And I know that's a very generic, oh, they're just jealous, that's why they're just being mean, you know what I mean? But it's true. Anyways, back to the core concept here, the conscious concept. You're not your body. You are not this thing that you were born with. What you are is a spirit. And science can't find where that is, where that little part in your brain or in your body is that's triggering the movements. Like, what's triggering me smelling my finger or drinking this water? Because science, they can find the nerve endings and the neuroreceptors and what's triggering the muscles to come grab this, right? They can find that, but they can't find the initial what made it do that. What caused that? Who fired the gun? Because they know how the gun was fired, but who fired the gun? And the answer is you. You're who you really are at your core. And I'll be talking about meditation in this show, and you can find yourself with meditation. And honestly, you are nothing but a blank canvas. You're like this Play-Doh that could be molded however you'd like. You're an infinite light being. That's why I'm in the sun right now. I'm enjoying the sun. And I did some sun gazing this morning, which I'll make a video on, obviously. But it's very liberating because you stop caring what other people think. You start to realize that no one is their body. If someone's making fun of your body, you're not your body. You are consciousness. You are nothing but awareness. You are noticing, you're seeing things. I mean, this glass, this jar of water here doesn't have eyes. It's nothing but a collection of energies and particles and molecules. And there's no consciousness here. There's nothing noticing anything. The only reason this exists is because of consciousness. It's a projection of me. It's a projection of you. It's a projection of everyone's consciousness, everyone's awareness. And that's a deep subject that almost I am having difficulty understanding. But try not to analyze it. Try to just take it in and don't think about it. Don't make an equation with math and science and all these things. Just kind of interpret it like art. A lot of people, you wouldn't look at a beautiful piece of art and just notice, oh, look at the lines and the colors and the way they did the technique here. No, just take it in. Eckhart Tolle is one of the greatest examples of this. He spent 2 years on a park bench just noticing the park and looking at it and being present, and he said he was in intense joy. So I guess back to the conscious concept of you are not your body. These are fundamentals of spirituality, the fundamentals of awakenings and in spiritual enlightenment is noticing that you're not your body. Now I'm going to try and tell you how to notice this. So I could tell you some of my experience. I noticed that I kind of played my life like a movie. I looked back and I was just wow, so many things happened, but I didn't change. I'm still the same person. You know what I mean? I'm still the same person who rode a roller coaster 4 years ago. I'm the same person who went swimming up north in a lake 8 years ago when I was a little kid. I'm still the same person. and it's almost like you are, you're just experiencing. You're along for the ride. You know what I mean? And that's what I realized when I was walking with my dog. I was like, this dog is just along for the ride. It's like you're driving this car. That's the analogy I had. Yeah, you hop in a car and you're driving the car. What we seem to forget, though, is that we're not the car. Just because we are using every tool, we're using the stick shift, we're using the steering wheel, we're using the pedals, just because we're using that doesn't mean we are that. Just because I'm using my hands doesn't mean my hands are a part of who I am. My hands are this is nothing but a vehicle for me to share my message and experience humanity. This is my human experience. And I was like, what would a dog experience be like? You know, like, what would that be like? And I would never know. I mean, no one really knows if a human consciousness can die and reincarnate into a dog or a tree or whatever. No one really knows. But it's cool to think about. And knowing that you are not your body takes you away from the possibility of death. Death doesn't exist. Death is nothing but a transition. And we've heard this through ancient textures for thousands of years, is that death does not exist. It's a transition. Bob Marley says, when one door is closed, another is open. And I know that's a lot of people actually make that reference. And it's true. And once you experience astral projection like I did, it completely changed my life. I used to be so scared. I used to be like, oh man, like I really need to do as much as I can to live it up. Because apparently YOLO, you'll only live once, which is a joke. You can live 1,000 times. And I think it's not a bad thing either. Sure, when you die, I believe in reincarnation, and I believe it because of astral projection. I'm actually going to tell you right now my experience. I was laying down in my bed trying to astral project. It's very simple. I can make a video on that, easy. And I felt this vibration, right? And it lifted me. I was like floating in a sea of air. I don't know. I was just floating. And I looked down, and I had to prove to myself, all right, I got to prove to myself that this is right. So I like took my middle finger and just like made it extend into this like hose of whatever. And I was like, all right, yeah, this is real. All right, get it back. So I sucked my middle finger back into my hand as I was like, all right, so I'm in the astral realm. Now what? And I just started flying and like stuff like that. And I realized, I looked back and I saw my body and I was like, whoa, like it blew my mind, because that was the first experience that I realized that I'm not my body, and when I die, I will be that ball of light that I was. Like my finger was glowing like I was a ghost or something, and that's what it felt like. So I felt what it was like to be dead, and I think that's what John Lennon was talking about, and she said on the album Revolver. He said, I know what it's like to be dead. And they were really into meditation at the time. They did all kinds of, they did acid for one, which is a gateway to those realms. DMT is a gateway to the fourth dimension, to the astral realm. And a lot of people have experienced this. Go online. Everybody experiences the same thing. That's what blows my mind, is that like, if this was fake, my human mind would just interpret it into something completely weird, kind of like a dream. Like how a dream doesn't have logic, but it's real. This is real stuff. And yeah, everybody experiences this white cord coming from your belly button all the way. It's almost like an umbilical cord. That's almost like, well, it's not always belly. For me, it was like right at where my belly button is. Some people, it's like their shoulder or wherever. It's called the silver cord. Google it, the silver cord. And there's songs about this. There's all kinds of references in ancient civilizations. They talk about this as well, astral projection, especially the Egyptians. They talk about this silver cord. And if this was fake, I wouldn't have saw it. I wouldn't have seen it, but I saw it, and I didn't even know what it was. I had to Google. I was like, what is with this like umbilical cord? I actually like Google it, umbilical cord while astral projecting, and it was the silver cord. So that is proof right there that when you die, that's what you become. And a lot of people say when they die and come back to life, that cord disappears and then comes back. That cord is like it's what attaches you to your body. It's like you can't leave until this body is dead. This body's still alive, so you're attached to it. So that's why I'm really trying to get astral projection going easy and lucid dreaming, because when you sleep for like 30% of your life is sleeping. Something like that. 30% of your life. So really, you got to get that figured out. You got to be able to lucid dream, or at least remember your dreams, because that's just a waste. But yeah, that's just me going on about a lot of things. Just remember though, you're not your body, and think about that, and really sit there and breathe for a second. The second you start noticing your breath, you stop thinking about anything else, and you're present. So notice your breath, and try really hard to forget about your breath. It's almost difficult when you actually like try and like notice the moment that you forgot about your breath and stopped controlling it. Because the second you control your breath, it's kind of, you have to kind of like change the subject to get back on that. Anyways, yeah, notice your breath and notice any thoughts that come in. This is basically a meditation, but you are the one who's watching these thoughts. And I'm probably gonna make another video about that. This was mostly just you are not your body, but I guess I'll make another one trying to disidentify you from your thoughts. If you're here watching and you're enjoying these videos and you're sharing these, or you're really into what I'm talking about and all this stuff, and you're really, really trying to search for ideas and conscious concepts like this, then you're on your way to a spiritual enlightenment, and you're along for a ride, I'm telling you, because the world is changing for the better. A lot of people lose hope, but I think we need to stick together because we're human beings. Humans are unbelievably strong, and people need to remember that. We're taught that we're not strong, and I will go on this show, so don't you worry. I'll come back another time. Thank you so much for watching.